Greetings and welcome to Topic Show, or the Topic Show video version. Of course, I'm taking time out from here and there on my lives, but I will return to them at some stage, so please be aware of that. I will be talking about other things other than, of course, the main topics, which is, of course, the touring places, which is part of touring with Nick C. I was going to say the old name of touring with us, but it's actually touring with Nick C. So, yeah. By the way, of course, we will have here and there competitions for anyone that wants to get interactive on our lives. That is a separate issue altogether. So to let, of course, the team leaders know, I will be producing videos, and of course I will be going back to the lives at some stage, and I'll try and inform the leaders about that. So yeah, we're talking about the TikTok creator, I would say leaders, and of course we have a TikTok creator manager as well. Jonathan is in charge. So if you see the logo up on the screen, right at the top of the profile, you will know that it is a TikTok creator, and I'm just one of them. In this topic show, I'm going to be discussing for a little brief time. Hopefully I'll be able to read some of the segments in this leaflet, which of course is the Saffron Walden Town Trail, which actually you can get from the Tourist Information Centre. Now, I'll be talking about a unique town of Haverhill on one of the videos here. It may not be this one, but of course it might be another one. And I'll be discussing a little bit more in depth about why, of course. Well, not necessarily why, but of course it'll be some interesting information that, of course, people have not known about the unique town of Haverhill, Suffolk. So I'll be talking a bit about that, and maybe, of course, we can ask some few people along the way of why they think it's not a tourist attraction town. Now, of course, in a recent poll on Facebook on my Haverhill Uncensored group, that was the case, that some people said it's not a tourist attraction place and they don't want it to be for some reason. I don't know what the reason behind it all, but of course I'm sure there's an explanation for it. But for now, we're going to be talking about the Saffron Walden Town Trail. The illustrated map is inside this magazine here, and a guide to places of interest, a short history of Saffron Walden. Visit saffronwarden.gov.uk, and they're on Instagram /SWTIC, and Facebook for Saffron Walden, and Twitter, which is now X, of course, at SWTIC. So, of course, the short history of Saffron Walden, I'll read it to the best of my ability. If I go wrong, I do apologise, okay? And by the way, of course, you can see where my studio is and the date and time you should see on the screen, unless, of course, the camera goes into zoom mode. Now, of course, the short history of Saffron Walden, you may be fascinated to know, for 400 years of the Roman era, right, okay, was never more than a small settlement in what the later Saxon inhabitants called Wheeler-Demu, Valley of Britons, and we now call Saffron Walden. However, by the time of the Domesday Book, which was written in 1086, there was a village of about at least 120 households. In the 1130s and 1140s, the Norman lord of the manor, Geoffrey de Mandeville, 3rd Earl of Essex, did three things that led to Walden being the economic, got that word right, I've had several goes at that, by the way, and administrative centre of the area. He built the castle, moved the market from Newport, and founded a Benedictine priory. The castle keep ruins can be seen today, and the market is still held on Tuesdays and Saturdays. The priory became Walden Abbey in 1190, and it was given to Sir Thomas Audley in 1538 during the dissolution of the monasteries, and he used it to create Audley End House. In the 1230s, the Earls of Essex, now the Bohuns, set out a new ambitious town plan, including some earlier elements with a grid system of streets, a new marketplace and a new church. These elements still can be seen in the town centre today. By the late 1300s, the area around Walden, as in Saffron Walden in Essex, had begun to grow the saffron crocus, and by the early 1500s was the centre of the saffron industry in this country. An interruption board on the saffron story can be seen on the side of the town hall. Such was its importance that the town adopted the name of Saffron Walden itself, and its legacy is reflected in the wealth of the timber-framed buildings of this time and the largest parish church in Essex, completed in 1525. Saffron Walden has a major place in the evolution of democracy in this country. In the spring of 1647, with one Civil War won, the new model army under Sir Thomas Fairfax split with Parliament, which was ordered not to approach London. Fairfax settled on the Saffron Walden as his headquarters and billeted his soldiers in the area. Debates were held in the parish church, where for the first time ever ordinary soldiers elected representatives to speak for them. Eventually, even Oliver Cromwell of the MP was persuaded to throw his lot with the new model army. There was little development or expansion in the town of the 17th and 18th century, as in centuries, due to the decline of the saffron industry. However, there was some refacing of old houses, and the Georgian Town Hall, which was built in 1760s. So yeah, it was a Georgian Town Hall which was built in 1760s. The prosperity returned in the 19th century with the growth of the malting and the brewery industry, and with farming still at the centre of the area's economy. The Gibsons, who were bankers and brewers, were one of the wealthiest families in the actual town of Saffron Walden in Essex. They were Quakers and great philanthropists, and were involved in the founding of the museum, the library and the hospital, the transfer of the Friends School to the town from Croydon, digging wells, and eventually bringing the branch line of the railway in 1865. The Victorian prosperity is reflected in the buildings around the market square and to the south of the town. Now, in this final paragraph here, changes to the 12th and 21st centuries have included the demise, or whatever you like to call it, of the branch line of the railway in 1964, the stopping of the regular livestock markets, large modern housing developments on the outskirts, and later the infill developments, as in developments in the town centre. Saffron Walden in Essex has a growing population of 16,000 people and is widely recognised as a safe, healthy place to live within easy reach of London and Cambridge. So there you go, and it does have a railway station at Audley End, by the way. So So yes, of course, on another video I'll be speaking about, of course, Haverhill, and you'll probably find out why, of course, it doesn't have a tourist attraction side to it, which is a bit of a shame really, because we were recently speaking to Joe Mason, one of the councillors of the kind of area of Haverhill, but on the outskirts. He claimed he was from the Withersfield apartment, but was connected to is connected to the West Suffolk Council. So he has his say about Haverhill and what he wants to invest into it, or just that kind of thing, as part of the West Suffolk Council. So we had a little bit of a chat today with him today. Well, yesterday it would be now, from this date here, it would have been Thursday the 23rd of July 2026. Yeah, we had it at the Dravot Smock there at 3 o'clock yesterday. Anyway, of course, back to Saffron Walden here. Other places of interest in Saffron Walden might be of interest to you, so stay with the one you're on here and listen to this if you can. The Elms Houses, Park Lane and Abbey Lane. The earliest Elms house was built in 1400 by a charity founded by John and Elizabeth Butler. The building was in the form of 2 courtyards, each with 10 dwellings. After 1633, the building fell into despair, and those now grouped in the Park Lane and Abbey Lane were built in 1834 and are the replacements and extensions of the original. Now we go to Walden House and Gardens. Of course, you might have visited there before, but you can actually kind of like walk there, but yeah, if it's nice weather. So Walden House and Gardens, of course, they've got an Walden CB11 4JF, telephone number 01799 522 842, englishheritage.org.uk/Audley. Okay, that's english-heritage.org.uk/Audley. Built by Thomas Howard, Earl of Suffolk, Lord Treasurer to King James I, Walden is one of England's most magnificent stately homes, with over 30 lavishly decorated rooms, interiors by paintings and furnishings. Explore the Capability Brown Parkland, 19th century parterre, and the organic walled kitchen garden, stables and service wing. Now we go on to, of course, Walden Miniature Railway, which is where I accidentally ended up one day, but of course I had to retract my tour at that point. It was just one of those days, I think. I was actually meaning Walden train station, but anyway, of course, yeah, easy to get mixed up, especially if you're in Saffron Walden. But yeah, Walden Miniature Railway, of course, the Walden Miniature Railway is an exciting 1.5 mile train ride through the Essex countryside, perfect for a day out with all the family. Spot the many toddlers in their teddy bear houses around the track, or even try to find out the fairies and elves through the enchanted woods. WaldenRailway.co.uk for that. And the Baptist Church of the High Street in 1774, the Baptists split with their fellow nonconformists who worshipped the Abbey or in the Abbey Lane Independent Church. They bought an orchard on the present site and built the first Baptist church there. The present church was built in 1878-9. Its latest addition is the glass floor with a saffron crocus design. In front of the church is the town's war memorial. Now the common and the turf maze, that might be of use to you lot out there. The oldest of Saffron Walden's open spaces, the common, which is a meadow on which the local people and grazing rights had grazing rights, and it was also used for such events as tournaments. Interesting. On the eastern side, now of course if you go onto that side, is the largest turf labyrinth still surviving in Europe. The path winds for about 1 mile through the turf within a circle of 100 feet. That's in meters, 30.5 in diameter. So that's 30.5 meters in diameter. Now, of course, we go on to the Friends Meeting House, which is on the high street of Saffron, Walden. The Quakers still gather at this meeting place in the high street where they first met in 1676. The meeting house was altered many times over the years and was rebuilt in the 1870s by the Gibsons. Now we go on to, of course, about 4 more left before we end the programme in complete style here. This is Saffron, Walden, Essex, just in case you're switching on here. The Battle Ditches, the medieval earthwork popularly known as the Battle Ditches, is the surviving Saffron Walden corner visible today, linking Gibson Gardens to the Abbey Lane of a large rectangular circuit, enclosing the medieval town area. The course of the ditch, now mostly buried, has been traced around much of the town through archaeological excavations over the years. It is perhaps best referred to as the town ditch, as it was essentially a Norman and medieval boundary market. So yeah, essentially a Norman and medieval boundary market. Now, the Saffron Screen, which of course is an independent not-for-profit cinema, open every Friday, Saturday and Sunday and Monday, with additional screenings on school holidays. The cinema shows a range of mainstream independent art house and children's films, as well as a wide range of live special events. Opened in 2006, it has been comfortable 200-seat auditorium with a wide screen and full surround sound, refreshments and free parking. That's saffronscreen.com for more information. Now, the Saffron Hall, of course, is an award-winning 740-seat performance space within the grounds of Saffron Walden County High School. Saffron Hall boasts an annual season of concerts and events featuring local, national and international artists. Opened in November 2013, the 10 million hall has a much praised flexible acoustic and state-of-the-art facilities that surpass those of more established venues. Saffronhall.com is the website for more information. And finally, the United Reformed Church, which is Abbey Lane, the place of worship for another of the non-conformist groups. The United Reformed Church was built in 1811 as a congregational chapel with an iconic 4-column portico. It replaced the original church of 1694, which in turn was built on the site of the barn where the congregation first worshipped. So, of course, details of the opening times and any other information, contact the Saffron Walden Tourist Information Centre on 01799. Sorry, I say that again. It is 01799 5242202. I'll repeat that number once more because you might have got it. 01799 5242202. Okay, I hope you've got all that here. It's got lots of information a little bit further here, and it tells you exactly in more detail. I'll probably do that on a separate video here in more detail of course, different sections of the actual town of Saffron Walden. It's only the Saffron Walden Trail. And of course, hopefully you found this video very, very interesting. And if you'd like me to do a little bit more about other towns as well, and maybe I can visit some of those towns that I've mentioned, and I have to plan that in well advance. So I could be talking about Haver, I could be talking about Bury St Edmunds. I'm sure there's a history attached to each town I go to. If I'm able to get to it, that is the question. So thank you for taking your time to watch in today, and remember, as always, like I say on my lives and of course my videos, or wherever you see me, I promise to keep that positivity for you. God bless, peace out, stay safe, and cheerio for now. Until next time you see me live or on the video, and share that love.